Looking into bodybuilding, one can learn a lot about hard work, dedication, and perseverance, as it requires consistent effort, discipline, and a relentless mindset to achieve success. The grades even give us motivation to better ourselves. Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength." And just that little quote, Arnold gives his audience a life lesson about fighting through pains and struggles and how they can make one better. However, he took a lot of steroids, didn't he? Yes, and that leads to something significant about how we look at ourselves. Bodybuilders reveal what dedication and hard work are capable of producing, but in the process create a standard we cannot possibly reach without things like steroids.
Today, social media, films, video games, and ads like to present us with perfect bodies that do not always exist. Most pictures are edited, and some individuals have special and sometimes unhealthy methods of appearing a certain way. This can make a person feel uncomfortable in their own body. In this video, we'll explore how media is influencing the way we perceive ourselves now, how at times media is bad, and what we can do in order to have a better image of our bodies. Are we striving to be the best version of ourselves, or are we chasing after something that is unattainable?
Firstly, we look to the unrealistic, unnatural expectations set by today's media. This is the stage of Mr. Olympia, the best of bodybuilding competition has to offer. Can you guess how many of the contestants are on PEDs? If you said all of them, you are correct. Let's take a dive on Bradley Martin. Standing at 6'3", 260 pounds, 7% body fat, and 4.2 million Instagram followers. It's safe to say that Bradley has a big presence in the fitness media, pun intended. He shows off his physique and feats of strength online, and people can't help but watch. He has inspired others to do the same, namely Alex Eubank, who started lifting 4 years ago, a little after Bradley started sharing his media. However, Bradley never mentioned steroids about being part of his process once to his fans. He simply ignores the idea. So when Alex eventually plateaus similar to most natural lifters, where does he turn?
Alex actually stays on this hill for about a year, but his viewers don't like it. In fact, even other creators make fun of him for being small. Yes, this is what small looked like when Alex wanted to stay natural. With all of this outside talk, Alex was pressured to turn to, you guessed it, steroids. This is just the case of one person, though. What about those of us without a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers? Well, in a study done in 2021, 3,603 subjects who participated in resistance training at least 3 times a week were asked if they had taken anabolic steroids to improve their physique. A resounding 53% of men and 42% of women said they had. But why are nearly half of these people using steroids to further their training? A study done by Iowa University suggests that pressure from mass media was related to more negative body self-esteem and body satisfaction, and a greater possibility of psychological and behavioral outcomes associated with having negative body image.
Let's delve deeper into what pressures modern media has put on the average person to turn to an unnatural way of achieving goals. We can see how these unrealistic expectations are reflected in video games. Namely, Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, Lara Croft in Tomb Raider, Ryu was jacked in Street Fighter, Quiet from the Metal Gear Solid series. I mean, honestly, look at this side by side of Bradley Martin and Kratos from God of War. Are we kidding?
Kratos is one of the best embodiments of how the media represents the unrealistic yet idealized body, both in physical appearance but also in what that body means. Kratos in God of War franchise is represented as a fighter who can't be beaten, with the power of a god, with a chiseled yet huge physique and insatiable drive for revenge. His muscles are exaggerated to impossible levels, making him look more like a walking sculpture than a real human should. However, Kratos' body is not merely for show. There is a narrative to it. He is a demigod Spartan warrior who has been shaped by decades of battle, divine intervention, and supernatural enhancements. Yes, enhancements. Shout out steroids. His physical prowess is not honed through regular exercise or weightlifting, but by the gods. He has literally fought titans, killed gods, and survived many near-death experiences.
In God of War's world, his body is realistic. It is the result of his supernatural life. But we are not in a Greek legend. This is 2025. We don't fight our titan parents for control of the earth or wrangle mythic monsters. My point is that modern media often presents bodies like Kratos's as something that people should strive for. No matter how much training, dieting, or self-discipline, the average person cannot become an unkillable demigod. It is virtually impossible to approach Kratos' level of definition and muscle mass without the use of PEDs or steroids. Yet when young men see figures like Kratos, Marcus Phoenix, or even fitness influencers with extreme physiques constantly in their media, they may feel inadequate in comparison. This feeling of being less than can push them toward unhealthy choices, like overtraining, extreme dieting, or even steroids, an attempt to become something that humans are simply incapable of being naturally. The study done by Iowa State researchers relates these negative thoughts to negative behaviors, including steroid usage, increased food supplement intake, and increased probability to develop an eating disorder, such as bulimia or anorexia nervosa. So we got Kratos, steroids, and social media. What's the message here? Well, Kratos, let me tell you. Better yet, here's some science for you. In a study published in 2018 by the University of Triangular Minero, 45 subjects were studied. 15 who do not participate in weightlifting, 15 who do, and 15 who lift and take anabolic steroids. Want to know what they found, Kratos? Yes. The study found that athletes on bodybuilding training programs who used superlogical doses of anabolic steroids showed marked cardiovascular autonomic abnormalities, arrhythmias, and higher blood pressure than both groups. Additionally, the group using PEDs showed heightened evidence of concentric cardiac hypertrophy, the main sign of chronic hypertension. Tragically, steroid use doesn't just stop at symptoms and health problems. In Illia Golem Yefimchyk's case, they led him to an early death at 36 when he suffered a heart attack in his home. Or in the death of Jose Matheus Correa Silva, who also suffered a heart attack at just 28 years old. So what can we do to stop the spread of PEDs among natural lifters? Honestly, the most effective way would be to start at the top. If tomorrow Mr. Olympia committee sat down and decided no more steroids in competition, then the top bodybuilders would be forced to stop using. However, that's not going to happen, and the media and games are not going to stop making characters look supernaturally muscular or fit. It draws our attention after all. What we can do, though, is buy into the idea that it is good to be comfortable in our own skin. And if you can max out your natural potential, then you have already done more than enough. If I had to leave you with one thing, it is this: do what you can and don't do too much. Overtraining and steroid use have shown to be dangerous waters that cause injury and illness at an overwhelming rate. It is perfectly okay to be less muscular than a demigod or a bodybuilder who has been on juice for the last 10 years. In fact, you would be healthier than that same bodybuilder. Stay natural, stay fit, and work for what is attainable.